All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. It's me, Adam Van Ord from Van Ord Customs, here again with another live at 9:45. This week I have Richard Lutz, who is PardonMyNoob. You would know him from the Scale Builders Guild and the amazing trucks that he builds. So a little quick tidbit about me is that I'm Adam Van Ort. I do this every week, and I interview some of the biggest names in the RC crawling community, as well as search out some of the people who you may have not yet seen before. If you're just logging in and I've seen a bunch of your names come up, hit the wow face, hit some thumbs up, some smiles, whatever it is, and then type in there and tell us where you're watching from and let us know. Next, I will be bringing Richard on and we'll go from there. So let me get that set up and get this thing fired up and running. All right. So click. He is headed in. And connecting. Hey, how's it going?
Hey everybody.
So, all right, get a little volume for you on my end and we should be good to go.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
All right.
So, as always, without any other various hint of professionalism, clearly, I had an issue with technical problems again. And so I apologize for all of you and to you, Mr. Noob, in the fact that I was a little late getting in, but I started my live feed and nothing happened. And I was sitting here, and so I had to restart. So it took a minute, but we're in, we're ready to go, and people are filling us in on where they're watching from, and we're ready to go. So introduce yourself, man.
Okay. My birth name is Richard Lutz. I'm 33 years old. I live at Smigen's Folly with my two kitties and my girlfriend, and Uncle Albert, and Pappy. You have to excuse me, I'm a little under the weather right now. But, so yeah, that's about it.
All right. So how long have you been in this wonderful hobby of RC?
Let me see here. 2009, I think. So 9 years.
All right. Awesome. So what or who got you into the hobby to start with? Like where did your desire to get into this thing come from?
Well, I always liked RC trucks, but I never had any money for it. But then when I became a grown-up, I decided that I had the money to spend, so I bought an Emax, the waterproof one, and so I did the basher thing for about a year or so.
Nice.
And then I saw like a magazine where they turned like a AX10 into a scale truck with the X-Trail chassis, and so that was my first scale build, like a year later.
Awesome, man. So when I started into this, I also was like hit with that monster truck thing. And so I did all the research. I knew which monster truck I wanted. And like the next ad I clicked on was for an SCX-10. And I was like, no, game changer. Not doing that anymore. So I definitely almost went down that road. Well, we talked about your first hobby grade RC. If you weren't into this hobby, what would be your hobby of choice, you think?
Model railroading.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've done that. Well, I did in the past for a while, and that's where I got like into weathering and stuff like that.
That's awesome. So I know there's like a whole bunch of different scale sizes in the model railroading. Did you prefer one over the other?
I did HO, and then I did a couple smaller end scale, which is 1/160th scale.
Gotcha. So did you build like a big like course, a big like I guess a track? I guess I'm not a railroader.
Layout.
Yeah, layout. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple when I was growing up. My dad and I built one, and then I built a few small, like tabletop ones as an adult.
Awesome. So moving into kind of talking a little bit about the RC stuff and where we're at here is my next question is, do you prefer big tires or small tires? Do you want like big monster treads, or are you looking for that small scale goodness?
Small. Yeah, the least amount of tread possible. It makes it fun.
Makes it impossible to drive over anything.
Yeah, just like put it on a drill press and sand off the tread.
Nice. I like it. Um, do you prefer brushed or brushless?
Most of my stuff is brushed. I'm trying to get into brushless. I guess, it's a wiser choice. Yeah, I'm gonna try competing with brushless this year. It's be my first year.
Yeah. So I
I
have
don't
to
know
tell
much
you,
about competing.
one of the coolest things that I just found out last weekend, I was at a competition. And so one of the coolest things that I just found out was that with the Mamba Micro X, and I hope I'm saying the right one, no joke, a guy at the comp could control his drag brake with a setting on the dial on his radio. My mind
Yeah,
exploded.
yeah,
So
that's pretty cool.
that is really cool.
Yeah.
I was pretty blown away. What do you like most about Scale RC?
I don't know. Like, do you mean like building it or driving it type of question, or like what do I like about the whole thing?
I would say the whole thing, the whole like Scale RC thing in general, and then you can even answer like, I like this about driving, I like this about building. It's kind of, I mean, it's all about you, man. So
Oh, well, I guess I like the Scale RC the best, or because I can have like all the trucks I ever wanted in one room and afford them all. Like,
yeah,
so I got all those trucks. So it's pretty cool.
that is awesome. I see them all back there, and I'm jealous and drooling and uh, all of those things, and so are all the people out there in the world of watching us here. Give them some thumbs up for some sweet, awesome trucks. People who are watching. Do You just said that you compete, so I don't need to ask if you compete or not, but what is your favorite style of RC competition, and why do you choose that?
Style.
Yeah. Like
Like,
G6 or the GCM Adventure Series or Sorka or, I mean, X4 Racing, Scale Ultra, like it's vast. There's a whole bunch of them, so.
I guess I'd say Sorka because I've never really done much of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, Sorka's fine. I like to build the trucks to the rules, and you know, I'm not very good at driving, but I do like to try to build trucks that work
Yeah.
and look good.
Yeah, well, you definitely nailed the looking good part without anybody's doubt. I'm sure of that. And honestly, I don't know about your driving prowess, but I've been around when you were driving, but usually I was just picking my jaw up off the ground, admiring the handiwork on the trucks. So that part I'm not so sure about. Speaking of building, what was your first styrene build ever? So you heard about styrene, you're like, oh, I'm gonna build some styrene stuff. What'd you do first?
I made a jerry can for my first scale build.
Nice.
The whole thing was pretty terrible. It was a hard body Nico FJ Cruiser,
Mm-hmm.
and I cut it up. Like my first build, I cut the body and I turned it into a pickup truck, like the concept they released,
Yeah.
And it was basically made out of Bondo, and it exploded all the time. But yeah, I made some little scale accessories, but then I made like an off-road trailer. That was the first full styrene. And then after that, I built the blue and white FJ55 that Mike Lohman has now in his collection.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I went from like a little scale accessory to kind of like a, working thing, and then a full build.
Gotcha. And so you said your first one was like, I think I don't even remember what word you used, but not amazing. And so
it was a disaster. Yeah.
it was a disaster. So how does one go from building a disaster to works of art?
don't use so much Bondo. You know, yeah, sand more, use more styrene. Yeah, you know, I guess I rushed it, but I wasn't aware on, you know, like how strong a model had to be and everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then after I drove it and it broke every time, then yeah, kind of took a step back and reevaluated how I did things.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'll definitely provide some self-realization for you real quick when your stuff's falling apart all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I see all the trucks on the shelf. You kind of panned real quick. How many trucks have you built to this point? So I'm guessing several because I can see several. So how many are back there, or how many have you built? Do you even know? Like some people are like, "Oh my gosh, I have no clue."
I have maybe 12 runners right now.
Yeah.
Those are all scale. And then I have a couple, you know, I got like a bomber and X-Max and some other crazy stuff. But I've probably built for myself alone maybe 40 trucks or so. And then for others, yeah, like easily double that.
Yeah. That's
I've built a lot of like bodies and stuff.
Gotcha. That's super cool. Do you have any that you care to like bring off of that awesome shelf back there and show
Yeah.
some of these people? I want to see the Cherokee. Like,
Okay.
I drooled over that one when it was built. It was in a garage, and I like triple took the picture. And it's so stock looking. Like it just looks like every Cherokee I see on the internet.
Yeah, well, it looks like every Cherokee in my area because I live in Northeast Ohio, so everything's just hammered and rusted out. So it's got an open front diff.
Nice.
No tread on the tires, just bald. You know, it's like a $500 truck. So, little smash, bag for a window, temporary tags because every piece of junk only has 30-day tags here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a complete mess. Super fun to drive.
I believe it. So you've got a ton of them back there. What like pull out a favorite or two and kind of talk about them real quick if you would. That'd be amazing.
This one probably a lot of people don't know about or care to, but this is an Austin Gypsy. It's not a Land Rover. I put the most work into this one out of any vehicle. It's got all the doors and hinges, functions. The hood opens, you know. Even the little shifters move around. But I like this one. It's real fragile.
Yeah.
But yeah, narrowed the tires because they didn't make anything narrow enough. But I guess my favorite. This will be the first Gen 4Runner. It's on a Trailfinder 2. With I narrowed the Yoda axles, and this is a replica of a truck I had in real life. Yeah. Started with the Hilux body. Added some styrene and, you know, lots of sanding. So, yeah, it's fun. Sometimes the axles break because I did a bad job, but, you know.
All right.
People don't see that in pictures.
So as you're putting trucks back and stuff, you're showing all this building prowess and all these cool things. So let's talk a little bit about building. If you were someone new who's never done any of this styrene work, never like taken on projects like this, what are some of the necessary tools to like get you started in it? So beginner's guide, like get these things because that will help.
First, a ruler and a calculator so you can build something at the right scale, you know, not like 1/10 So yeah, I'm big on scale and, not that general 1/10 blanket, but tools wise, ruler, a knife. I like to use just a regular like Stanley blade, like a box cutter, as opposed to the number 11 blade. It's a little more fragile. Like this is better for detail, but for like thick styrene, I just use the utility blade. Oh, this is a good one. Square for cutting. I like to do everything. Yeah, sandpaper. You just pick up little tool files, different hand files, and spring clamps.
Yeah.
Got tons of these, different sizes. Got to have a lot of clamps because I only have 2 hands. But yeah, just a couple basic things.
All right, man. So you have a bunch of different tools, and you said after a while, like you pick up random stuff along the way, something here and there. What is like the one tool that you use all the time that you can't live without? And so I'm going to pose this question to all the people who are watching too. Like, what is that tool that is out there that like, that's the one? Like, it's weird, it's obscure. What is the one that like you can't do it without it?
It'd probably just be a rotary tool, like a Dremel.
Yeah.
Cutting and it really cuts down on the sanding, or like a palm sander, like a Black & Decker mouse. I have a little cordless one that's pretty good. Yeah, Dremel, I'd say.
Yeah, they're definitely high use items in my area as well when I'm doing stuff. The drill press, man, the drill press does so much. It worked as a lathe for me for many years, and then I was able to sell one. But drill press lathing it all the time. So continuing to talk about some materials and some tools. What are your, like, everybody kind of has a different version of what glue they might use or how they will glue things. What are your go-to adhesives, and how, like, do you use different glues for different things?
Yeah, for styrene, I use MEK substitute, methylethyl ketone, which is the active ingredient in pipe primer. I'll use some of this if I have a big area. I'll use the cotton swab on the end of it. That helps cover surface. And then for like super glue, BSI. And then I back up a lot of joints with the E6000. As Todd mentioned there, he commented. Yeah, those are the 3 things I use.
Yeah, very similar to my toolkit as well, as far as building the styrene and making sure that it's solid. If you begin to start a build, and let's say that you're going back to like your beginning days, and you say, I'm gonna build this jerry can. What are like the necessary materials to snag so that you have everything you need and you don't have to like run to the store 5 times to get what you need?
For if I was building what? You're kind of cutting out. I don't know if it's on my end or yours.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got that back and forth going on. If you were building anything, but I said like even just the simple jerry can or whatever.
Styrene.
It's a good one.
Yeah. There are various thicknesses of styrene. You can do anything, even wood. Some MDF. That works really easily. That yellow truck's made out of wood back there, the International. So, I mean, you can just carve anything with a Dremel.
Yeah, a lot of people don't use wood and overlook it, but I really like it. I think it's really easy to work with.
It works faster. You get results quicker, I think.
I agree. How do you find a truck to build? Where do you gain your inspiration? How do you decide what is the next truck?
I don't know. Most of them are just trucks I've known or come across. Like I have a huge list in my head on what I want to build, but like you just see something on Instagram, or as mentioned before, I think Matt mentioned it, bring a trailer.
Yeah.
A lot of cool, like, classic junk.
Yeah.
And, but like for inspiration, or like when I'm building something that I found, I'll search eBay, like for sale, and Craigslist, because people take a lot of detail pictures.
Right.
To sell something. That's a good help, good tip.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's how I've, if I was looking for like interior details or up close details, like searching selling ads where people are taking all the pictures all the way around the trucks is definitely, it's definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Do you operate on a budget when you do your builds, or is it kind of along the lines of the truck gets what it needs?
Yeah, I kind of just go for it. I don't usually set a limit. I try to keep it in reason, but it helps that I can build, most of the body and stuff for pennies, because styrene's cheap. But I usually go
Right.
like on my non-competition type Sorka trucks. I usually go pretty cheap on electronics, like the cheap $5 servos and stuff. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Keep it cheap.
Yeah, it makes it easier to build something really cool and scale while keeping the cost down if you go that route, for sure.
Yeah, and as you can see, I keep a couple trucks at a time. So if I tie up $1,000 in each truck, it's not going to help.
Right. Exactly.
Fun thing.
I got you completely. When you build, you'd already talked that you're big on measurements. Do you build to precise measurements, or do you eyeball some of it? Like, do you measure like radiuses and stuff too, or like you're building like to a square and then kind of go there?
Yeah, I just kind of measure. I use the metric system. Millimeters are better for building. It makes more sense. Yeah, like I'll scale drawings from the internet, or if I print them. And yeah, I usually just scale and get the ratio and go up or down. But yeah, I don't eyeball with scissors. I measure to a line and cut, and yeah.
Yeah,
That's why it
gotcha.
takes me so
That
long
makes
to build.
perfect.
I'm just measuring and.
Gotcha. How do you plan a build from start to finish? Like, what is your process? You find the idea, you're gonna build it. You know that. How do you plan the next stuff?
Well, I just I find my scale, which is usually 1/9, and I see what the wheelbase will be, and I basically go from there. I get the width and just have at it, and just let it, fall into place.
All right.
Or cut corners and make it work.
Gotcha. So I probably already know your answer to this, judging on your shirt, but are you forums or Facebook, and why?
Yeah, forums. But Facebook is a good tool as well, Forums definitely, because it's it's like an encyclopedia of information. It never goes anywhere. But Facebook, it's easy for people to see and share and stuff, and a lot more people can see a picture of a truck quicker on social media instead of the forums, but they each have their place.
All right. So since you are a forum fan, and I know that you're a big fan of the Scale Builders Guild because you're part of the Scale Builders Guild, can you elaborate as to what exactly the Scale Builders Guild is for people who may not know, and give them some information about it?
Yeah. Can I answer a question I saw in the comments? Where did I come up with Turks and Jews? I don't know. It's kind of like a thing I'm that guy, and we just always called Jeeps Jerps, and Turks, we always say things wrong. So yeah, Turks and Jerps. But so what is the Scale Builders Guild?
Yeah.
A forum. Yeah, it's, you know, people who take scale seriously and like to have a good time, and, you know, very encouraging, and yeah, we all have a common goal is to build nice looking trucks that may or may not perform well.
All right. So if that's what you're into, you definitely should be checking out the Scale Builders Guild. I love it. I love going through there and checking out all the builds. People with skills that are light years ahead of me. I can't even begin to come close, and it's amazing. What is Smigen's Folly? Like you talked about it. Where'd that come from? And then the whole creepy Uncle Albert thing. Where did that all come from?
I don't remember where the name Smigen's Folly came from. I think there's like a ski resort somewhere in Australia, or maybe it's Austria. Maybe it's Australia, called like Smigen Holes, something. Mm-hmm. So I liked that name because I thought it was silly, and so I was originally going to call it Smigen's Hole, but there's a long story, and the whole thread's on Scale Builders Guild. It's like 50 pages long. But Pappy Smigen, the proprietor of the Folly, he bought the land thinking it was a hole, but he was holding the map upside down. It was actually a mountain. And so the tabloid magazines, Quallering Monthly, got a hold of it, and they titled it Smigen's Folly, trying to, you know, ruin his career, but it's thrived. And his son is Creepy Uncle Albert.
Nice. So that's
and
awesome,
then
man.
Albert, the head, what's James French, I think the guy is. He makes these heads, and yeah, got the head from I'm That Guy, and I put it on a body, and I don't know, he just kind of has his personality of his own.
Yeah. So if you haven't followed that stuff, checking out the Turks and Jerps stuff on Facebook, and this, what are the specific pages? Like, I'm members of them, but I can't remember your titles, and I want to make sure you get people going to the right place. Like, it's awesome. There's like storylines that continue forever. It's really cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of identities, I guess. Yeah, so there's Creepy Uncle Albert has his own Facebook page, and that's just his, you know, little adventures. Mm-hmm. And then Smigen's Folly has a Facebook page. That's just my backyard. And Smigen's Gulch, which is at Smigen's Folly, is the like Old West, mm-hmm. you know, town there. And Turks and Jerps is my personal page for my trucks, and yeah, and then yeah, that's it. And that's my Instagram too, Turks and Jerps. Mm-hmm. I like to confuse people, but I am PardonMyNoob.
Yes, so go check out all of those things because they're all equally amazing, and just a wealth of cool pictures and storylines and builds. I mean, it's out of this world cool stuff, guys. And if you don't know what that is, you should be over there checking it out. What is your best piece of advice to give someone just starting out in this hobby?
You don't have to spend a lot of money, I guess, you know, just get whatever you can and have fun with it. And, you know, if you do decide to build, you know, you build something, just get some wood or styrene and have at it, you know. and if you suck at it, you don't have to share it. You know, nobody will know. They won't see your failures. I wish
There
I
you
never
go.
posted my first build, but I guess I'm glad I did. But yeah,
Uh, yeah,
just
I hear
kidding. Don't
that.
be afraid to share because we're here to help.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that some people get down on themselves when they start building, and they're like, "Well, my stuff's not good." Well,
Well,
no
everybody
one's
started.
stuff. Yeah, no one's stuff was amazing when they did it the first time. Like you have to
Yeah,
build those skills, and as you build and develop them, things just get better and better and better over time, and it, it just naturally your stuff begins to look better. So
yeah,
yeah.
and like, yeah, don't rush it. Uh, Take your time, and you know, I guess I could probably build better, but I make a compromise between strength and what you'll see and stuff. Like I'm not really huge into detailed engine bays,
Hmm.
because like you only see it when you're building the truck. You post the pictures, and my trucks with engines, I've never opened the hood since I finished building it. But that's just my thing. So there's kind of like if it's out at Smigen's Folly, nobody's gonna see the motor under the hood.
Hmm.
But that's what wins concours events, I guess.
Yeah,
So I do it.
understandable. Um, who are your influences in the scale crawling community? And if you were to name drop someone who you think should come on and be interviewed, who would that person be?
Um, there's a there's a lot of influences. It's hard to name. I mean, there's a lot of builders on the Scale Builders Guild that influence me. You know, like the mods, they're Deluxe and Wrencher and Headquake, and you know Matt. I'm that guy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, they're big influences. They all have their own special style, but I think someone I don't know. I don't know who to recommend. I'd say Mike Lohman. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's got a lot of trucks, and he's been in it a while, and he likes Toyotas too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, his showcase of trucks is
Yeah,
absolutely insane. Yeah, he's on my list. I
yeah,
just haven't sent my message yet. So if you're
yeah.
watching, you're
I,
on the
I
list.
he's got a couple of my trucks, and he might have the largest noob collection outside of my house.
Fair enough. I just I'm jealous of the Camaros. So I have a Camaro of my
Yeah,
own, and I see the Camaros, and I'm like, I want one. I just
he's got one of everything,
I know, right?
or two, or five.
So probably the hardest question that I ask people usually is, what is your favorite build out there floating around that's not yours? Um, you didn't build it, you didn't touch it, but every time you just keep coming back to that one.
Uh, the I'd say the half track that Matt built, that FJ45. That thing's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's completely pointless, and that's what makes it so great. And it
Yeah.
works. Yeah, I mean it's amazing. The weathering, the mechanics. Yeah, he nailed it.
I couldn't agree more. It's definitely on my list. As everyone knows, it's hard to nail one down, but that one's definitely on my list. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Uh, where do you see scale crawling headed in the upcoming future? What do you see coming down the line here?
I don't see it going anywhere. I mean, I see it only getting better. Yeah, like it's pretty popular, I'd say, and it seems pretty strong. Um, you know, the 3D printing, whether you like it or not,
Mm-hmm.
is definitely helping. I got a, I tried a few 3D printed bodies. The Forerunner, there, that gray one on the bottom. It takes a lot of work, but you know, you can just make a body appear out of thin air, and I'd like to learn that myself, but I mean, I can barely work my phone anymore.
Yeah, it gets incredibly complicated. I started into that process and kind of just petered out.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when you have a child and then they grow up into a toddler. So, do you currently have any sponsors? And if you have any, why have you chosen to work with / represent those people?
Excuse me. Yeah, I have a couple. RC 4-wheel drive. I've been with them 6 years now, I think. Right before the Trailfinder 2 came out, so it was a good time to get in.
Yeah.
You know, I picked them because I did a few things with Tom Allen before then, you know, and I liked working with them, so I you know, tried to get on the team, and I did, so that was cool. And GCM Racing, you know, great outfit. They like tiny tires and super scale trucks. And then recently got on Castle Creations, which I've always used. They're like speed controls and stuff, so it's a good fit. Yeah,
I agree. I've always used Castle stuff in one form or another. Usually it's been relooked at by Mr. Holmes, but one way or another it's been Castle on the inside in some way. So
yeah, good value, I think. That's why I always went with it.
Yeah,
good features and price was good.
So what can we expect to see next from you?
I got a few things. I can grab them.
Hopefully everybody else is seeing the video feed. I'm paused, so I can hear you. Can
you see this?
I can't see any video. Hopefully the people are seeing it.
I'm holding a truck. It's a long brown truck.
Oh.
Can everybody see that?
Oh, good. They can see it. Show away, man.
All right. So yeah, this is I'm finishing this up. This will be my Class 0 truck this year. It's a 15-inch wheelbase Toyota custom cab. You know, it's got the engine, much to my chagrin. But yeah, it's almost done. I just got to do some weathering on that. It's on a GCM C-Max. And then this is my Class 2 body. It's kind of hard to tell with the all white here, but
yeah,
it's a FJ60 Land Cruiser. But yeah, got a bit to go on it. It's going to be heavy and awful, but you know, my first Sorka Class 2 truck was a scratch build, so I'm trying to go back to that. I used Lexan last year, which, you know, it performed, but it just didn't have the heart.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely a different feel between the Lexan and the hard body.
Yeah.
I've built Lexan bodies, but I'm definitely prefer a hard body for sure. Now I'll mutilate it and turn it into something completely ridiculous, but
sure,
I prefer a hard body.
Yeah, and you get those points, you know.
Yeah.
You can get most of your scale points in a body, so you don't even have to strap firewood to the hood or anything.
Right, because firewood
first aid kit
on the hood is like super scale.
Yeah, and all the bed rolls.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, I'm glad people can still see you. I was at the point where you're paused on my screen, but that's awesome. Anything else you want to add, interject, throw out there as we're coming to the end here?
No. Thanks. Thanks for everybody watching and staying awake. And it doesn't seem like too many people left, so
yeah.
I hope I didn't ruin the show.
No, you didn't ruin anything.
It was fun. This was my internet debut, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it, man. I'm honored that you were willing to come on and talk if that's not something you usually do and feel comfortable with. So I totally appreciate it, and I thank you for being on.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's time to face my fears, I guess.
Well, it's really not that intimidating. There's supposedly people watching us, but we can't see them, so it's really like we're talking to a phone.
Yeah,
So,
very cool.
all right. So if you don't have anything else to add or anything like that, I just one more time want to thank you for being on. You have some of the coolest builds out there, and we look forward to what you're putting out because we are all following along. So
All right.
if you don't have anything else, I'm going to let you go and then kind of finish up here, and we'll end this feed.
Okay, sweet. Thanks.
All right. I will talk to you
Bye.
later.
All right, later.
Yep. See ya.
Click.
Okay. All right, guys. Last time here, I want to thank Richard Lutz, PardonMyNoob. Quick mention to him and all of the amazing things that he does. I am loving all this action I'm seeing over on the side of the screen. The other way, that way. On the screen where you're hitting likes and hearts and smiley faces, all of those things. Those are great. I appreciate it. A couple things from my end to talk about what's coming up. Next week, I have... oh my gosh, I forgot his name. I have the guy who puts on the K&K TTC, Mike. I cannot remember Mike's last name right now. I will totally have to post up a thing. I'm at a blank. Kirby. Oh my gosh, I knew that. All right, now also behind that, I have Matt Lass on April 5th. Ben Morin on the 12th, and then several more coming up after that. Keep tuning in week after week. I'm going to bring you as many awesome, cool people as I possibly can. A couple quick things to shout out for myself is that if you like what I'm doing, make sure you're joining this group, the Live at 9:45 Facebook group. I appreciate you all for joining, following along, being a part of it. It will notify you when we get new people showing up on our list of interviews. It will also notify you when we go live so that you don't miss out on the start of a live feed. I'm going to do this every Thursday at 9:45 if I can, and go from there. Lastly, if you do like all these things, and you like some builds, and you like that stuff, check out all of the other stuff that I'm doing on the media. My website, vanorcustoms.com. On my website, you can access some of these videos that I've already done, and other things of that nature. I also sell scale plates and some banners and things like that if you have any interest. On YouTube, I am Vanord Customs, so I upload my videos from here to YouTube and then to my website, so you can find them either place. And lastly, Instagram is Vanord_Customs. That's where I post a lot of my build stuff, a lot of unique pictures and things like that. I've been playing around with camera angles and lenses and photography and being artsy and stuff, so that's my outlet for that. So if you're interested in any of those things, check out all of those, and thank you for tuning in. I will catch you guys all again next week on Live at 9:45. Thanks. Have a good night.